Yo, what is up, guys? Back with the Civic. So we're gonna try and get some street tuning in this video. We got a few things left to do to the car. We picked up an alternator belt that should work. We picked up a new Snake Eater Performance fuel filter with the on and off valve, so that's pretty cool. We're trying to get that to meet up with the fuel rail right now because we don't have actually any more line, but we got all the fittings I think we should need, so we're gonna get that on there. We gotta get the radiator in, coolant, trans fluid, oil, get the V-band on the header to the rest of the exhaust, and she's ready to fire up. So we're gonna go ahead and try knocking some of these out and see how it goes. Okay, so actually currently we're having trouble with the fuel filter because we need male ends to go in here because the female from the lines actually aren't the same thread pattern. So this is just wider than the opening for this, so we just need male ends to go into this. So we're gonna hook up the elder system, the previous setup, and we're just gonna run it like that for now, and then we will change the fuel filter over when we have the correct bits to adapt it all. But yeah, we're gonna get that finished real quick and then move on to the next thing. Also, before we move on, we are draining the tank. You guys know this car is on ethanol, so right now we have a system rigged up to drain the ethanol out of the tank. I have the fuel pump turned on in the S300, and I have the battery jumped to my Insight on back there, which is on. And we're just pumping all of the fuel out as much as we can, and then you know how E85 works, it coagulates, it gets kind of gunky in there, so we're draining all the 85 out. Then we're going to put 2 gallons of 93 in, run it through the system a few times, not through the engine, just into the tank, back into the car, into the tank, back into the car a few times. Once we have that done, then the system should essentially be cleaned. We can hook everything back up and go get more ethanol and get her started and finish up with that. But that's how we're servicing this fuel system real quick. And then when we get the right fittings for the shut-off valve Snake Eater Performance fuel filter, we'll put that on and it'll be great. Boom, we're done here. So we got the injectors in, got everything plumbed up, vacuum line to the fuel pressure regulator, return lines on, we got the feed on. Like I said, we're gonna integrate the Snake Eater Performance filter once we have the fittings to go for that, and then we can redo these lines and maybe mount the fuel filter somewhere. But we're gonna go ahead and put the radiator in quick. Then we have to do the alternator, and we just got trans fluid in it, so all we have to do is put engine oil in it, coolant, and should be good. Give her a fire up for the first time in a while. Alright, cool. So we got it topped off with coolant. We got the trans fluid in. I just put new plugs in. BKR7Es gapped at 35 thousandths. We got the throttle cable on. We got the alternator belt on. We're gonna check the fuel system for fuel leaks by priming the pump. We just got some fresh E85. Before we did this, we drained all of the E85 out, put 93 in it to clean the system a little bit. Ran it through a couple times, and then went and got fresh E85. We're gonna put that in, crank it a few times, make sure it has oil pressure, and then we're gonna plug everything in and fire it up. Basically, we do have to reset the throttle stop because I didn't put thread locker on it before, and it rattles loose, so it's loose right now. So we'll have to figure out where it wants to idle at again, and then we can thread lock it. So Ty's just getting the intake on, and we're gonna start it up and let it bleed itself. So let's go. Alright, we got the distributor unplugged, we got the injectors unplugged. Ty's gonna go in and prime it until the oil light goes off, and we should be golden to give her a start. So yeah, as soon as it starts, we're gonna make sure there's no leaks, and we're gonna let it warm up, monitor the AFRs, and yeah, maybe get out on the street. It's a little windy, so maybe not, but at least get it to warm up and see what it's at. Go ahead and prime.
Just fuel.
Did we put ethanol in? No, we didn't. Oh, okay, we gotta have fuel.
Cap on the bottom.
Yeah. Alright, we got fuel in the car. Ty's gonna prime the car again. I'm gonna check for leaks, and yeah, okay. Do it again. Got like 40 psi, so that's better. Cleaned it out. Good battery voltage helps too. Alright, let me check for leaks real quick. Okay, no leaks. Go ahead, clutch down and prime until you see that light go off.
Pushing the clutch this time.
Okay, for some reason our starter's giving us an issue again, so we are going to try and jump it real quick and see if it'll turn over that way. We've been having this issue for a while, trying to fight this starting issue, and we thought we found it, and it worked for a while, but maybe because it's been down for a while, it's a little something. Sticky. Yeah, something. Hopefully. So we're going to jump that real quick and see if it turns the car over. Okay. Yeah, so it works. I'm just going to, let me know when you have oil pressure. I'm just going to hold it over.
Okay. You want me to try with the key real quick again?
Yeah, go ahead.
See if maybe...
Yeah, maybe that did it.
Yeah.
That's weird. Alright, I'm just gonna hold it. Let me know when you have oil pressure, okay?
Yep.
Let me start my car. What the fuck? Do it again? Okay. I guess it just needed a little bit of coercion. Well, now it works with the key, so... Maybe she needed the extra juice. Nah, you're not wrong. Alright. Go ahead, crank it till she has got oil pressure. Oil pressure? Yep. Sweet. Alright. We're going to plug in the injectors. We're going to plug in the distributor and see if she fires up. Okay. We got the injectors plugged in. We have the distributor plugged in. Put new plugs in, like I said earlier, gap to 35 thousandths. They're BKR7Es. We're going to start it, monitor the cooling system, and get it burped out. See if she fires up, bro. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Let's go. Yeah, you might have to open the plate a little bit. Okay. Alright, it sat for a while, so no biggie. We're going to put a cap full of oil in each cylinder just so that the rings can seat and seal and get this thing to fire. I know we had to do that first time we got it started, so let's try that again. Alright, we'll put a cap full of oil in each cylinder, got the spark plugs back down, and we're gonna try and get a start on it. Hopefully she seals up. We have cold start tuning to do, that's why this is like this, so that's also our issue, but once we get her started and running, then, you know. Alright, see what she does. Okay.
I don't even think it's keeping up with the charge.
Yeah. Sheesh.
Let it charge a little bit?
Yeah, I guess so. I'll let it charge a little bit and see. Alright, I'm gonna spray some starting fluid in. Hold the throttle like quarter of the way. I'm gonna spray some of this in the starting fluid in the intake, and hopefully she fires up. Okay? From the clamp to the exhaust, so we may have to figure that out, but she's quiet, boys. God damn, son. We're gonna top off the coolant, make sure it warms up. You saw it, guys. No noise. No fucking noise. No noise. We found to solve the issue, bro. That timing gear not having that spacer on it was allowing it to move back and forth in and out, and then the cam's touching the cam cap rails. It sounds so good. It sounds less choppy. It sounds more smooth. It sounds deeper. It sounds cleaner. So like, it was smoking, it was chiefing a bit. You could see it, the smoke up in the air, but we put a cap full of oil in each cylinder. Also, because the piston rings hadn't been expanded in a long time, it took a while for them to warm up, and maybe that was just some of the oil that was on the cylinder wall burning off, because it started to clear up as the car got warmer, which is good. That's a good sign. Clearing up when you warm up means it just sat for a long time. So I'm getting some coolant in it, we're filling it up, making sure it's all full, and then honestly we're gonna do a bolt check and get on the laptop and start sorting some stuff out, maybe take it outside for a small drive. All right, she's back on the floor. We got the markers in. We're not gonna run the bumper real quick. We're gonna take it for a drive tonight and just make sure the fueling is all right. He's gonna put the rear mirror in right now. He's gonna start it. I need to set this throttle stop so that we can get the idle dialed in while it's warm. I just put Loctite on it and I gotta tighten it, so. Alright guys, so I don't remember where we left off yesterday. The last clip was yesterday. We did get the car out. The battery that's in the car is not good for, it doesn't have enough cranking amps, and it's dead basically. It's a recycled battery. So we were having issues with it if it stalled starting again. We were also having a bucking issue because it was lean, so I added some fuel into the map, and there was so much going on I didn't even get to record any video. But today it's still daylight out, so we're gonna get some driving time on the motor tonight and get some tuning done. Carlos is coming down, he's probably gonna drive, but we're gonna try and get some tuning done. I got a new battery. It's a 750 cold cranking amp battery, and because the battery's in the back, we need higher cold cranking amps so we can start the car. So I got a new battery for it. We're gonna throw that in and see if it'll start without doing anything to the map, because one issue that we were having is the engine wasn't turning over fast enough. So with the new battery, hope that the engine turns over quicker. Also, another issue we were having, I set the ignition timing, but the ignition timing light, when I set it at 16 degrees, was only showing me top dead center on the crank pulley. That's an issue. When I went to 16 before top dead center, it was going behind the crank pulley, like on the after top dead center type. It wasn't making any sense. So I'm gonna try the distributor from my motor. I'm gonna throw it in here and I'm gonna see if it's any different, to try and rule out a situation. This is an AutoZone reman distributor, so the guts could be not lined up correctly. So I mean, the car, I didn't drive. Ty drove while I was working the keys, and it drove okay, I want to say, after we added some more fuel to it, but it definitely needs ironed out. So we're gonna do that. First off, we're gonna put the battery in. I'm gonna swap over distributors and check ignition timing again with the timing light, and make sure everything is kosher. If it's good with my distributor, then we kind of have to get another distributor or wait until we have the correct distributor. We have Carlos's distributor too, which I don't want to pull off, but if we need to, it's a good working distributor. So we're gonna check that real quick, see what's going on with it, and dive right back into tuning this thing. Okay guys, so we're gonna do a little bit of like a point of view style thing. So yeah, you can see what I'm doing here. I'm gonna get this battery changed out. I'm gonna leave it unplugged, swap the distributor, and then we can get on to doing our thing. So this battery tie down is actually not wide enough to fit over to the sides, but it'll hold it down. So we can do this until we find another thing. way around it. It just needs to be so the battery doesn't move, and it shouldn't. I don't see the battery going anywhere, and I don't want to tighten it too tight because I don't want it to dig in to the battery, so that should be good. Pop that off. All right, let's get to the distributor. Okay, so I just spun my distributor from here, and this is what I heard. And you can see that the rotor is loose. The nut is tight as it can be, so I'm thinking this might be why. My car was randomly throwing a TDC sensor code. This could be why. This looseness right here. Yeah, so what I'm gonna do is grab the one off his engine, the B16, and I'll have to fix this before it goes back on the motor. Okay, we got the distributor on, we got it plugged in. We haven't set the timing yet. We're going to. We're gonna get it backed up some, get everything off the top, set the timing with the ignition light, and then see if it times up right. If it does, then we know that the distributor that Ty has is no good or just not built correctly. It is an auto zone distributor, so that's the issue we have. I believe, obviously, if you buy one of them, you're probably not going to get one in good shape just because of it's coming from AutoZone, Advanced Auto. Like, they should be in good shape, but you know. Brand new battery, go wee! All right, got the battery on. We're gonna hook up the laptop, get this thing started, because we have to mess with the cold start and the hot start idle, or cold start and hot start fueling. But we're gonna get this thing started. We're gonna let it warm up, and then we're gonna check ignition timing. Okay, so I've got the laptop on. I'm gonna turn the car key ignition on. Fuel pump sounds really good. Plug this in. Get live. We're gonna wait a few seconds because the ECU does like to be weird. So going to get live. Dude, this thing keeps crashing sometimes. Okay, finally was able to get live with the ECU. We are going to give it a start. We gotta let it warm up, and then we can check the ignition timing. So go ahead, Carlos. Clutch in. The starter may give us some issues. You have to push it all the way down. Okay. See if she'll start.
This is...
No. Yeah. Stop. One of the plug wires must not be on. Okay. All right, so I did have 2 mixed up. I have 1 3 4 2 instead of 1 2 4 3. So yeah, so we're just gonna switch these joints. Okay, sweet. It'll probably start up fine now. I'm gonna put this intake back on and we should be good to go. All right, intake's back on. Let's hope my ECU doesn't act, or my computer doesn't act up right now.
I should have left the door on in. I guess you can't.
Okay, turn the key on. All right, go ahead, start it up. Yeah, we have to adjust the exhaust. Man, that sounds horrible. Alright, so we got the car idling pretty good right now. We're gonna lock ignition and check for timing. There you go. So 16 degrees advance on this should show us top dead center, which it almost does. So so it's basically maxed out. If I go to 0 here, it should show me 16, which is at white line. So we're locked in at 16. Timing is perfect. Okay, go ahead, you can turn it off now. All right, so what that tells us is that his distributor is bad. Ty's distributor. So he'll need to get one, an OEM one. So I'm gonna talk to Ty real quick and then we're probably gonna take this thing out and get some tuning in. Okay. All right. Dodge all, go around that way, around the hole.
Keeping that foot hella steady. I'm like pushing it down into the ground so it doesn't go like.
Yeah.
The throttle body is big. It's gonna be like womp womp womp.
It sounds pretty good though so far. Just start. Yeah, come on, drive it. Come on, drive it. Drive it. No, no, no. Feather the clutch. Yeah.
It's like on and off.
Yeah, I know. You got to use RPM, bro.
I'm just not trying to rev it.
Dude, as long as you're not going to fucking 4 or 5,000 RPM, you should be good. No, you got to let the engine brake because it's got to brake in. Definitely really rich up there, so I gotta pull that down. Alright, let off the throttle. So, you're gonna go left. Really don't want to be driving this thing at night, but it is what it is. cool so I can see what to do.
You want me to keep it at a certain RPM or no?
When you're going downhill, it's got to break in. Oh.
That was off. When you hear it go like blah, 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 it's off.
Alright, let off. Idle's good. Fueling's looking better, but just turn. What time is it? Ah, this is so fucking annoying, bro. This car's too fucking loud.
You gotta like, if we do drive it back, like, if we can drive it and iron that.
Just go left.
If we can iron out.
You're good. Just go left. That, but I drove it in. We definitely got a lot to do here, and tomorrow it's supposed to rain, so the next dry day, I know Ty wanted to get it back on Wednesday to take home, but that's not gonna happen. We have to get this thing ironed out better. It's driving really well. It definitely needs an alignment, but the tune's coming along. It's gonna take a little bit more time to get it like ironed, but it's looking good so far. I got some of the fuel dialed in. It is still a bit erratic, and I'm dealing with the wideband not matching what the AF ratio is on the screen, so they're like a point difference, which is it's really weird. Also, we have to get the cooling fan on because when we start to idle, it'll get above 200 like it is right now. So I'm gonna have to go in here and make some changes and see what we can do. All right, cool. It is Wednesday. It's like 65 degrees out. It's a little windy, but it's supposed to get cooler as the night goes on. It's semi-dry, so I want to drive this thing, but we need to get the fans working. So that's what we're going to be working on now. I'm going to pull the intake off. I believe these two wires right here are for the fan. I could be wrong, but what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna show you guys. You can jump this coolant temp switch with like a paper clip or a wire, and it should send power to one of those wires to turn the fan on. And then the wiring is right here. I'm gonna try to put a clip on this end and put a clip on that end so they can plug together from all these old junk harnesses that I have. So I'm gonna check that real quick, jump that, try and get these fans working. Okay, so it's weird. I had the switch jumped, and neither of these wires have power to them, so I don't know what these are then. You can see these two, they've been spliced together. Don't know what the heck is going on here. Yeah, so honestly, without pulling his whole hot wiring harness back to get the fan to work, we're gonna have to run it on a manual switch, which I don't like. And I mean, it's gonna be, there can be user error and you cannot turn it on or whatever. It can cause issues, and I don't want that to happen. Yeah, it looks like that's gonna have to be the way that it is. So I'm gonna throw some heat shrink on these wires so they don't touch anything, because I don't know what they're for. And yeah, like I said, without pulling the wiring harness back way far and checking, because yeah, obviously this harness was touched, which is why we had to install the engine harness. So yeah, it's not great. Okay, so I actually did pull back the wiring harness some, because I wanted to see what this stuff was, which is this is the factory, not factory, but this is what he had in place for the fan previously. But I believe that these are the fan wires, fan control wires. So I'm going to again, I'm going to jump the connector here and see if I have power on blue, and I think black and yellow is ground. So I want to make sure I have power on blue, and if I do, then we can wire these to the fan and it should be good. So I'm going to check that real quick and we'll catch back up. Okay, so I think I may have found his the issue I was having. So the fan relay, which is up here on these EFs, I took it off and it has a diagram right here. So if you energize these 1 and 2 pins, 3 and 5 should close. I did that. I made these little plug pieces, put them onto the pin, connect them to a battery, and with his, it didn't work. It didn't click at all. I was confused as to why, but it wasn't clicking. I grabbed another one from this spare, I think, a cord harness that I have right here, and same thing. And I'm like, man, what the heck? So I measured the resistance, and I think they were bad. So I grabbed a nut. There was a condenser and there was 2 more relays on that harness right there. Pulled them off, and the first one that I tried, it clicked. So I assumed that could be why the fan just wasn't working whenever I tried putting power to it with the harness. So you can hear, I'll put it right here real quick. You can hear as I test, when I test the relay in the S300, you'll hear it click. So I'm gonna do that real quick. So if you listen for that, it should click. So you should have heard it click there. That's perfect. The other one was not doing that. So I'm gonna check these wires again, because these are what's supposed to be for the radiator fan. Make sure they don't have power when they shouldn't, and should when they should. I believe this one always gets power, and then it grounds through the relay, which then gives me ground for the fan, and then the fan comes on. So I'm going to do a quick hookup real quick, hook these up to the fan, and see if it works when I turn the fan on. Okay, this is just for testing purposes, but I have the yellow, which has 12 volts on it, to the red, which goes to the black on this one, because black needs power for it to spin and push the air that way. So then blue is connected to the black, which is then connected back to the blue. It's jank, but just for testing purposes, I'm going to test the control and see if the fan comes on. And if it does, then we know we can finalize that. So test outputs and radiator fan. Whee! Fan is on. Blowing some air across the radiator. That's perfect. I'm gonna finalize this wiring and then we can get back out on tuning, bro. Okay, cool. So I got the wiring all loomed up. Looks a lot better. I actually got a plug on it so you can plug and unplug the radiator fan for him. I threw on the piece of the intake that I cut off of the CL and an old filter just so we don't suck in any dirt or water. I got the front bumper back on. It fits like it does. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's not an OEM bumper, so I don't expect it to be. But the bumper's on. I got the intake on. The wiring for the fan is cool. I'm gonna top off the coolant because the radiator does have a slow leak. I think it's right around the edge right here. So we're either gonna weld that for him or he's gonna get a different radiator. But I'm going to top off the coolant, check the oil before we go out. The car needs a severe alignment, but we're gonna just deal with it and see how the brakes are. But yeah, I'm gonna top off the stuff real quick and then we can get to some tuning. Again, finally. All right, guys. So I did a little bit of driving already. Got some of the fuel ironed out, and car needs an alignment really bad. But I'm gonna head down the road here and make sure the fueling is all good. Well, not all good, but you know, good enough. I definitely would love to do this on the dyno because it'd be so much simpler. It's very loud. The fueling looks a lot better so far. It's not perfect, obviously, but it's a lot better. I I got the gauge to line up with the fueling on the thing. I had to factor in a voltage offset. Sorry about the light. Oh, there's no, oh, okay. But yeah, I got it to line up with the voltage offset on the laptop, what it was seeing from the sensor, so we should be good now, hopefully. Let's get some cruising in and see how it is. This clutch, I don't know if it's the pedal assembly or what's going on, but the clutch is touchy. Gas pedal feels nice and smooth though. I like the pedal feel. It definitely needs brakes, maybe. It hasn't been driven in a while, so maybe it doesn't need brakes, but maybe they just need to be broken in again. But back there, I do have to do some adjusting, so it's touching the sway bar itself, so, and the exhaust is just very, very loud, but it's not bad. It's driving really well on the map. Some adjustments quick. The gauge is reading 14.4 and the AF one here is reading 13.5, so I'm gonna go back into the parameters and take out it's like it's, I don't know, once it warms up I guess it gets better. Minus 0.2. 14.6, that should be good. I don't know why it changes. Maybe it warms up, it has a better voltage or something. Not sure, but it's looking good. Let's go for some more. If the V-band is loose down here or if the flex is just jingling around. I don't have that issue with mine, but mine's a vibrant. I don't think this one is, but we'll figure it out. We'll solve it. Also, the exhaust back there, like I said, is doing its thing. So we'll get this 100% dialed on the dyno, but for now, I think right where it's at right now, it's probably good enough for Ty to take home. Yeah, so this weekend he's probably gonna come get it and send it home, let him break it in. Got good idle, good startup. I do have to work on cold start tomorrow, so, or whenever I let it cool down and start it again. After that, he's cool to take it home. Catches idle really good. That was an adventure. Well guys, that was an adventure. You can still see my head mount thingy, but yeah, we got the car pretty much dialed. It's driving really well. It's cooling how it should. The radiator's working. There might be a leak still, so we're still gonna monitor that. I do have to figure out what the rattling is on the exhaust up front here at the header, and we also have to fix the exhaust touching the sway bar in the back, which I think I can just grind down some of the hanger, because that's all it's touching is the actual hanger piece. So I can grind down some of that. Hopefully that doesn't touch. It didn't touch when I mocked it up, so maybe just because it doesn't have that piece that goes over and across, there's nothing really holding it still from going sideways, because there's supposed to be to have that other mount on the passenger or on the driver's side, I meant. But yeah, map's getting dialed in. We're getting this much closer to get this thing on the dyno. It's ready to go home. I just gotta work on cold start, and Ty can take it home, break it in, and we'll see him on the dyno. So that's all for this one, guys. Hope you stay tuned. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hopefully this isn't a long one. This feels more extensive than even the fabrication, some of the fabrication videos, so it's a little odd, but it's whatever. But yeah, that's all for this one, guys. I'll check you in the next one. Stay tuned, guys. Deuces.